Hello and welcome back to Aubrey Books and Coffee. Please grab your favorite beverage of choice and join me as we review the books finished in September. So, I'm excited, you guys, because I really need October, hence the little ghosty already on my shelf. I really need to hurry up and get the fall here and manifest it. So let's do some stats, because as you saw probably on the thumbnail, there's 30 books to review this month. So 30 books in total, equaling 12,092 pages total read. Keeping in mind, guys, that if I don't finish it the month before and I finish it this month, it counts for this month. And there was a whole lot of NetGalley that got rolled over. So not all of these were started and finished in September. Some of them were started in August and finished in September. Keep that in mind. I ended up having 2 2-stars, 15 3-stars, 9 4-stars, and 4 5-stars, which is fabulous. That gave me an average rating of 3.7, which I will take any darn day because I love that. Anything over 3.5, please. For the most read genre, of course, it was fantasy, but followed closely by romantasy, romance, and even YA, which is lovely. For format, of course, audiobooks were my bread and butter as always, but look at how many ebooks I had too. I also acquired most from Libby and NetGalley. Of course, I mean, that makes sense. Like I said, a lot of NetGalleys had to roll over, but I'm always still grateful for Hoopla and the physical in our libraries. So again, a shout out to the libraries. I don't know what I would do without you. You literally save me thousands and thousands of dollars every year. So going into the actual books themselves, we're going to start off with Blood in the Water with Tiffany D. Jackson. You know I love Tiffany D. Jackson. I gave this 5 stars. I had to. It was really interesting. It's basically following the main character who has to kind of adjust to the more uppity setting with a family friend and living with her kids and everything there. And we're in a really rich kind of place. And there's a murder that happens. And so she's kind of wanting to solve the murder, but there's also just trying to fit in and trying to share her background with the, people her age that are there in the vineyard. And yeah, it's really interesting. It's funny how much is hinted at with sharks. You really don't deal with sharks in this book. So it was kind of cute because every chapter had like a little plaque that looked like when they say sharks don't swim here, there's sharks warning. And it looked like that for the chapter headings, which was cute, but didn't fully really have to do with what was going on in the story. But still, it was a really cute book, a good read, fast-paced, enjoyed it, and I highly recommend it. Then I finished the last in the Lux series. This was in my series blog, so you'll have to look at that if you want more info. Enough to say Opposition got a 5-star. Then I finished Blood Over Bright Haven. Everybody's talked about this everywhere. I saw it everywhere. I had a pretty edition with sprayed edges like you saw in the thumbnail. I gave this 4 stars. It's really heavy topics of like indentured servitude and slavery and people who feel like they're more important, so it's okay to sacrifice the lessers so that they can have a good quality of life. It was very, very interesting. I think the writing style was really good. I really enjoyed it. It's just the ending. The ending was a big disappointment for me. So like leading all the way up into the very, very end, I was still in it. The very, very end is what disappointed me. So that's why it got down to a 4-star. Otherwise, it would have been a 5-star. So I do still encourage it. I think it was a good read. Then I finished The Love Hypothesis. I gave this 4 stars. If I did half stars, it would have been 4.5. You know I enjoy Allie Hazelwood's writing style. This is, of course, main character who's set in the STEM world, which again is so fun. It's kind of an arranged dating situation. I really love the characters. I loved their banter. I loved how messy the main character is. She's flawed, but she is fabulous, and I highly recommend it. Then I finished The Once and Future Witches. I gave this one 4 stars. Again, would do a 0.5, 4.5. If I did 0.5s, it's got a sisterhood. Of course, it's got witchy, things going on as well. It was beautiful. It was magical. It had to do with motherhood as well. It just, it was heart-wrenching, and it was just so, so good. Then I finished Pure, which is book 2 in that series. You know I love me Jennifer Armentrout, but I gave this 3 stars, and I am not continuing the series, you guys. I'm just not connecting with the characters. I don't know why, because I love her from Blood and Ash series. I love the Lux series. I've enjoyed some of the newer series that are coming out now, too. I just really wasn't vibing with these characters. It's just not for me, so I'm done with this series. Then I finished The Sleepless. This was a NetGalley. I gave it 3 stars. It's strange. The love triangle in this, basically you had a main character who, whenever he sleeps, an inner character inside him comes to life, and another character named Lucian, and I don't know. The pacing was really, really slow, so that didn't help. But then to have a weird love triangle when one of the people's inside you is just bizarre to me. I just couldn't quite get my head around that, so it just definitely wasn't for me. Then I was given on NetGalley a sample of Empire of the Dawn by Jay Kristoff. I'm sad it was only the first 200 pages because I was in it, you guys. So those 200 pages get a 5-star, but I 100% still have this on my want to read list because I need to know what happens in the last 600 pages. So I'm really grateful to NetGalley for giving me the sample, and I am so excited. If you've loved book 1 and 2, you are 100% going to love this third one too. It jumps right off. You're still in the same interview with a vampire vibes. It's everything. It is everything. Then I finished Misfit Monsters by Eva Chase. This is her new series that's coming out with Periwinkle as a new protagonist. I gave it 4 stars. I loved it. It's kind of feels to me anyway like Suicide Squad meets some kind of Academy of Magic, and she's with these fellow students and she's trying to figure out what her powers are. She's trying to relate to these other students, and it's just really sweet and really interesting. And then there's this hidden dark force in the background, which adds to the, excitement. So I highly recommend this series. I can't wait to pick up book 2. Then I finished Silver Elite. Everybody's been talking about this. I now see why. I gave it 5 stars. It was so good. So it lives on my shelf up there. I'm definitely going to be continuing this series. I felt like the main character was real BA. She was amazing. I loved it. She also has some abilities and things that she has to keep secret. And I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give anything away in this story, because there was a revelation or two that was I didn't see that coming, and I love it. So I hope you guys end up loving it too. I highly recommend. Then I finished another NetGalley book. This one was The Austen Affair. It's like modern times, and they're doing a movie. So kind of like you have these adaptations of the Jane Austen novels. And so the main character is doing this in the movie. She really can't stand her, co-lead because he's just really arrogant and horrible. Something crazy happens and they're actually sent back in time. So it is so fun though. Their relationship is so cute. I love how sarcastic and real the main character is. She made it all for me. It's very grumpy sunshine trope, but so good. And a lot of Jane Austen nods that just made it so wonderful for me. High 4 stars. If I could do half, it'd be 4.5. Highly recommend this one. Then I finished Great Big Beautiful Life, Emily Henry book. She's hit or miss for me. Some of them are on my shelf. I love them so much, like Book Lovers and Funny Story, 5 stars. Loved them. This one got a 3-star for me. It's her newest one. I just wasn't crazy about it. I love the idea of somebody hiring 2 different authors to try to write her memoir, and they're both kind of battling against each other, and because of their past they already kind of have a grudge against each other going into this, and now they're both competing for something that could really make their career. So I love the premise of it. However, there was a whole lot of jumping back in time. Whenever our main character would be interviewing her, she would talk about her past. So we're jumping back into the past. And I just found that I really didn't like this woman who's hired these 2. And I don't know, there was just something about it. I guess because off screen, they had a thing that happened in the past. And so you then fast forward to where we are now in the story when we start out, and they've already got some history. And I guess for me, I like seeing the history unfold in front of me. I don't want to just know there was something that happened in the past that's shaping everything they're doing. So maybe that was why. I don't know. There was something about it though that just wasn't grabbing me, and I just really didn't enjoy it as much. Then I finished another NetGalley, Fateless. This is kind of like an Assassin's Guild, like if you've ever seen those video games or show, and Throne of Glass kind of vibes, especially in the beginning. And I was absolutely loving it because we've got assassins that have to test their skills, especially one in particular who keeps getting put through the ringer to try to find out just how powerful she is, to find out if she's fateless, if you will. But then it kind of goes deep into the weeds, and it's like after we get our first revelation, it's just kind of goes downhill. So it really just slowed down. It's almost like they slammed on the brakes and gave us a whole lot of padding that I'm guessing is leading to the next book, but I'm not going to be continuing this series because for me it was just kind of meh by the ending, which is why I got the 3-star. Yeah. And I don't know, I would necessarily recommend it to everybody. If you don't mind a super slow pacing after you start off with a bang, then maybe pick this up if you want a fantasy with assassins and fate and things like that going on in it. Otherwise, I think you could skip this one. Then I finished Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. V.E. Schwab is also a hit or miss for me. I never really cared for A Darker Shade of Magic. Don't tell Kim. But with this one, I really had a good time, you guys. I gave it 4 stars. It's got vampires in it. It's got 3 different timelines with 3 different main characters, but they all tie together. So stick it out. It's worth it. You'll see how they all tie together. I thought it was really, really good. There was a lot of things that were very bittersweet, but the ending especially, I just thought was perfect and fabulous and on point. And you get all these vibes from the book that just really make you think, Gothic and, like old London kind of times. And it just, it was chef's kiss. So good. Then I finished book 3 in our Dungeon Crawler Carl series, and I gave it 4 stars. I loved that there's all these hijinks going on with a train. It is hilarious. I, of course, love Princess Donut and the other characters. I don't want to give anything away by naming another character you see on the cover there. A lot of familiar faces that we hadn't seen in the previous book, so that was really cool too. And of course, more monsters and bad guys they have to defeat in order to continue on. A really good time. The reason it was a 4 instead of 5 is, for me, maybe it's because they were in the same location, even though I don't like travel that much. I don't know. Whatever it was, there was something about it that just didn't quite pull me in like the previous one. So this one got a 4 star, but a very, very high. It would be 4.75 if I did that. So it was very, very close. And of course, I'm still going to keep it. I'm going to collect them all on my shelf. Don't be silly. Then I finished Fallen City. Adrienne Young is one I really enjoy. I think the lowest I've ever rated her books was 3 stars. This is also a 3 star. I would give it a 3.5 if I did half. I thought it was fantasy. I thought it was very enjoyable. I just didn't quite appreciate, I like fast pacing, but I like a buildup. I like knowing what's coming. Instead, you're thrown in the middle to end of a war that's happening, and your main character's trying to adjust to that. That's fine. I'm trying to wrap my noodle around it, but that's fine. I'm going to get up and get running with you. But because it was so fast paced in the beginning, and then you're getting tons of info dumping on this world as you go, because you're thrown in the middle and the author recognizes you need to know what's going on because it's a fantasy book, it got to where I just got bored, and I felt like the characters were someone I was watching on TV instead of being right there beside them, if that makes any sense. So for me, I again couldn't really connect with the characters, and I got to where I was bored because of the info dump. It was just kind of like, not for me. But you might like it, especially if you like Adrienne Young. You may like it. Then I finished, for a book club for a local bookstore, my first James S.A. Corey. I'm not going to give up on this author because I've heard that the Leviathan series is really, really good, and so I want to give that a try. I gave this 3 stars. I thought it was really, really weird. It was very complicated. It had to do with aliens enslaving humans, and there's like a hive mind mentality, and there's, of course, humans wanting to do an uprising, and of course there's betrayals and things, but it just, I don't know, it was just weird. It was just really, really weird, and there were new words being used because they're aliens, and so they have a whole different vocabulary than us that got me confused at times, and so yeah, it just wasn't for me at the end of the day, but I like the author's writing style. I just didn't like this story. So that's why I want to give at least the Leviathan series a try. Let me know down below if you've read the Leviathan series and if you really liked it. Then I finished The God of the Woods. I gave it 3 stars. This is definitely literary fiction more than it is a mystery, to the point where there's a lot of jumps, a lot of time jumps, and it's very confusing because you've got like 5 different names of people. And so, for example, if you have Julie, well, then you got Julie right now, and it's Julie, but 1950. And then we're jumping to present day and what's going on. And then we go to Samantha, but Samantha in 1985. And then we're going back to present day. And then we're going to Lee, but Lee is, 1962. So you see what I'm saying? Like, it's very confusing, all this time jumping. You're not really sure what just happened versus what happened 50 years ago. So it got really confusing for me. And so because of that, it kept pulling me out of the story. I had to keep flipping back to previous chapters with that person's name on it to kind of get a feel for exactly where I was in the story with them. And that just really took me out of it. And then in the very ending, I didn't feel paid off enough for me having to do all of that work, to figure out where I was in the story each time. So for me, it wasn't a good enough payout. And so it got the low 3-star. Then I finished another NetGalley, definitely maybe not a detective. This is a 28-year-old who's raising her niece. She lives in a senior complex because they really needed tenants and she needed a cheap place to live, I guess. It was very cheesy in places and I don't know. It just wasn't for me. Like, I love a good funny one, especially when it has to do with mysteries and stuff. It can be really hilarious and I love that, but I just was not on board. To me, it just felt very over the top cheesy is what I keep going back to, and you really had to suspend disbelief. Like, you could not live in the world of reality whatsoever with this story, and I just wasn't feeling the warm fuzzies with their relationship, and I just could care less about the characters, so it just wasn't for me, and it got a low 3-star for that. Then I finished Learn My Lesson. Katie Roberts, does the Olympus series, which is very, very spicy. It's not quite erotica, but it's very, very spicy. And so this one was kind of a prequel of the series with Meg and Hades. And I don't know if it's because I do like story with the spice, if you're going to throw the spice in, whereas this was mostly just spice and they jump right in at the deep end of it. There's no buildup whatsoever. And that's why I didn't quite vibe with it as much. So I gave it a 3-star. Or if it's because I can't wrap my noodle around Meg and Hades, because I grew up with the Disney version where Meg's all about Hercules and not Hades. And so that just kept melting my noodle every time. It really was bugging me. I thought it was so weird. So just not for me. Then I finished another NetGalley, A Cold Wire by Chloe Gong. Chloe Gong, I usually give 3 stars to, so I'm not surprised this was 3 stars as well. It gave me all the Ready Player One and Warcross kind of vibes with it, but the pacing was all over the place. You would have really fast pacing, and it was really intriguing, and I was enjoying this world where people live through their avatars and such, but then it would slow way down and it would be really boring and into coding and stuff like that. And it just lost me with the pacing being all over the place. Then I finished another NetGalley. I told you there were a bunch on here. And that was Undercutting of Rosie and Adam. This is book 3 in that series. It's an adorable series. I gave it 3 stars. All of them have been getting 3 stars from me, to be honest. The pacing was really good. I enjoyed that. I love that they were reluctant allies. I thought their relationship was really cute too. But it's just such a strange world that they're living in that for me, I don't know. There's something about it. It gives me 3-star vibes, and that's the most I can give for it. But it was an enjoyable read. And if you really liked the other 2, you will like this one. Then I finished a GoodReads win. This one was Sweetwater. Sadly, gave it 2 stars. It was a weird concept to me. It's a girl who wants to travel to Paris. She goes into a public restroom. Then she wakes up on the floor of the restroom, and her neck's a little sore. It feels like she's got some wounds there. All of a sudden, she realizes she is a newly turned vampire, and she's still on her way to Paris. And she meets some people that she's going to be living with and stuff. And they're talking about, what are they going to wear to a club or party or something. You're a vampire. Why is this not upsetting or blowing your mind? Or why are you worried about what some boy thinks? Or your fact that you are worried about your clothes and what you're going to wear when you're a freaking vampire. It's almost like it was an afterthought, and it was just such a weird concept to me, and it was just so angsty. So even when she would finally recognize my life is different than what I thought it was going to be, it's never going to be the same again because now I'm a vampire, there was nothing really addressed with it. And she'd go right back to being angsty again. So it's not the same thing as, vampires live among us like in Twilight. That I got. They're in high school. Yeah, it's totally going to be angsty. This is a grown woman. I don't know. There was just something about it. It was just too weird. It was just too weird for words. And I could not get on board. Then I finished another NetGalley arc. Warrior Princess Assassin. I gave this a high 4 stars. I'm 100% going to be continuing the series. It's like an arranged marriage, but with Waichus as well, with an assassin who's been a childhood friend of the princess. And she starts to get kind of a backbone as the story unfolds. And there's politics, of course, and because there's kingdoms involved and things, but and powers. But I had such a good time. I thought it was so good. The banter was bantering, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I don't want to give anything away, so I'm not gonna. But just suffice to say, stick it out. It's worth it. It was so much fun. Highly recommend. Then I finished our book club pick. This is How You Lose the Time War. I gave that 2 stars. That was the second 2 stars. I didn't like the writing style. I'm not a huge fan of novels in epistolary form anyway, but on top of that, to me, some of the wording got really flowery and got really out there for me. So I wasn't really vibing with it at all. It just felt really weird. Like I was reading someone's private notes and they wanted to use $10 words for things. And it just wasn't for me. I'm sure others loved it, but it just was not for me. Then I finished A Crown That's Cold and Heavy. This is book 3 in the Kingdom of Lies series because I'm on Stasia Stark's street team. So, of course, I thought there was just too much fluff in this. I gave it 3 stars because there was just too much fluff. I feel like you could have knocked out half the book that just wasn't necessary and maybe combined it with book 4, having not read book 4 yet. And I think that would have been a solid end to a really brilliant trilogy. Instead, we've got a book 4. So I'm hoping things get wrapped up a little bit better. I'm hoping the pacing's a little quicker, and I'm hoping there's a lot less fluff. Then I finished another NetGalley, The Executioners 3. Oh, this wasn't a NetGalley. I'm sorry. This was just a regular. The Executioners 3 was a new release. I love the writing style. This is, of course, the same author that did the Luminaries that we read for our book club. It's YA, very strange ending, but it has the similar style, and I love that style. There's something about it that just grabs me. It pulls me in, and I absolutely love and adored it. I loved our main character. She's very flawed. Her relationship with her mom and stuff's very flawed, but I had a fantastic time with it, and I hope you guys too. If you liked Luminaries, highly encourage you to pick this one up. Then I finished White Horse Black Knights. I gave this 4 stars, a high 4 stars at that. We have a princess that has to do Lady Godiva style, traveling from her kingdom to her betrothed's kingdom. And she has a guard named Wolf who's supposed to protect her because she's got to be nude on this entire journey. She's also what's called God-kissed, where she has an ability where she talks to animals. And it's just really interesting. And of course, the banter between the two of them and the relationship there is just absolutely amazing and to die for. There's a betrayal, because of course there is, to get another book in there. I am absolutely continuing this series. Then I finished The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. This I gave 3 stars. It's book 1 in the Dream Harbor series. I wanted to see Lori Gilmore in person for autograph and to pick up her latest book. Sadly, I was sick with my lungs, so I had to cancel and wasn't able to go and do that, but they did ship me the book. I love the Wild Geese Bookshop. Shout out to them. And yeah, it was a cute, cozy mystery. It gives Gilmore Girl vibes all over the place, which is just perfect, especially this time of year. For me, it just wasn't enough high stakes to give it a 4-star, but I had a good time, and I am actually going to be continuing the series. Then I finished Labyrinth's Heart. This is the 3rd and final book in the series there, the Mask of Mirror, Rook and Rose series. You'll have to look at the Broken Binding vlog to get more info on that. I'm sorry. Just suffice to say, I gave it 5 stars. It ended with a bang, and I loved it. Last but not least, I finished on another NetGalley. This one was Thief of Night, which is the sequel to Book of Night by Holly Black. I gave it 3 stars. It had a decent wrap up. It really did. And you're still following Charlie, and you're still following the shadows and that whole world. I don't want to say anything because it'll give away a big thing from book 1. And so I appreciated that. I think it got the 3 stars instead of 4 stars though, because for me, even though I liked how it was written better than the first one, honestly, there was an added relationship that had to do with Red, we'll just say, that I didn't think was necessary. It didn't really need to be a part of it, and it took up a good chunk of the book. So for me, if that had been completely excluded, this probably would have been a 4 at least star. So, but that's just me. That's my take and my personal preference. So thank you all for watching. Let me know below what your favorite book of September was, what you're looking forward to reading next month, because my TBR will come out tomorrow. And if you read any of these and what you thought of them. Then thank you again, and please like, subscribe, send your friends, and I'll see you guys next time.